All right, today Stability AI released Stable Animation SDK, which is a powerful text to animation tool for developers. And so when I first saw this, I thought that we were in front of a way to create animation, um, like consistent animation in artificial intelligence, but this is not really what this is. This is more of the forum version for the cloud. So just think of that just to manage your expectation. They're not really releasing any new open source model or anything that you can really run on your local machine without their cloud API. So you'll need an API key to get, to that. And also, you'll need, to install the libraries locally. And this is just targeted to developers so they can add these animations into their front ends essentially. So with that said, I created an article here with some of the information. I'm going to be updating this as I go. So bear with me, I still have this here. So essentially, the first is the release announcement. I put a couple links there. And then the other thing is, but this is not consistent character animation. And this is also not an open source model that they're releasing. This is, again, more of the forum on the cloud. So this is, again, not an open source model release. However, I was in the release call today, and their creators are also involved in developing the forum. They have added some contributions to that. So there's already some open sourcing happening, like indirectly, but not really. This is a direct open source release. The first thing that you need to do is to install the pip install Stability SDK Anim UI, and then that will install the Animation SDK. I'm gonna open up the terminal here and then just run that. And well, this is common to me. I had to actually install Python first. I'm gonna put it here. If you don't have Python, make sure you install it. So for me, I had to run brew install Python. And what it gave me was Python 3. Right? So this thing that they're putting here, it's more like, looks more to me like this. If you have Python 3, like this. So I'm just gonna recopy those there and then say this is Python 3, sorry, pip 3 and Python 3. Right, so you run it like that, and yeah, it's with this weird stuff here. So just make sure you add this at the end and at the beginning and then at the end. And it has this as part of the name of the package. So you'll need that. Right now here, like I'm not really gonna. Actually, I'm running with the comment and all that. So if you run that, it shouldn't actually do much because I already have it installed. So it's gonna, do its thing essentially, and then it's gonna finish. I'm just gonna stop it since I have it already installed. Then after that, you're gonna just do the exact same with this. You're gonna run Python 3. And so once you do that, you need to install the SDK as well. This is if you want to install or you want to use the SDK for a specific project. But if the only thing you want to do is just to run the AI, you then don't really need it. So actually, then the only thing actually that you need is just running the AI, which is running the graphic user interface, which is this command. So just to reiterate, this is to install it, and this is to run the command. So I'm gonna just run it here, and um, it's gonna ask you for your Stability AI key, right? Which you need to go ahead and find. So for that, go to Dream Studio AI. It could be like that. So you got to get started, and then you get started there. You agree to whatever you need to agree. Log in. So I'll ask you for your login information. And then when you are in, you're going to see something similar to this. So once you are in, you can go ahead and go to your API key like this, and then just copy that. You're going to get some free credits at the beginning, but if not, you're going to have to buy, or if you want to generate a little bit more, you're going to have to buy that. And $10 is going to get you to around 5,000 images, and just for a couple of seconds, it depending on how long you want to generate your animation. But if you want to do a couple of seconds, then you're looking at 70 something frames, right? Because it's going to be at least a couple frames per second, right? So just have that in mind. Probably with the free one, you have enough to play with it and generate something. But what I did today was I just bought $10 of it so I could have, enough to test a little bit. Once you have that, go ahead and copy your API key and then come to your terminal, paste it. It's not gonna show, right, as any other secret because you're pasting it. It's sensitive information. So I just pasted it, and then I'll put return there, and then it's gonna tell that you have a URL. So with this URL, you should be able to go and load up the graphic user interface here. It has like a kind of a weird, it looks similar to Automatic 1111, but you can tell that this is kind of the first version, like version 1.01 of things. The first thing you have to do here is to load a project. So actually, if you try to go to render, which is where you generate the application, you generate the animation. Let's say this is, we want a house with blue and then sky. And then if you have never seen, you know, a prompt like this, essentially what it says is that you will start with this, the house blue sky, and then the second part of the animation, I'm just gonna do that for, to be very, very, very simplistic. I'll put here dark. Um, I'll put sky here actually, and then put dark, right? And then I'm gonna render that, and then it's gonna say this error here. So it says not project active. So you actually have to go back to project, load project, um, and essentially select a project here or wherever, or actually, I, I'm gonna just delete that so you can see. Um, really, the only thing you have. So the first thing I'm gonna say here, the test number two, and then create that, right? So you just create the project first. As I say, it's a little bit weird at the moment. The graphic user interface is really bad at this stage, but just create a project, just click create. Here, it's essentially saying that's loading this test number two, right? So now you have the project loaded so you can render something. Oh, and of course, it deleted this, right? So again, house, and put sky, and then put blue, and then I know that I kind of did in a reverse order there, but it doesn't matter. And then dark, right? Let's put here one, and then render. So since I have my since I have my API key, then it will connect to the Stability AI platform, and it's going to generate that there. So this is not actually using any of my GPU. You can see here that it's generating 72 frames, and all of these things you can play with it, but essentially you can say here how many frames you want generated, and you have a couple animation modes that um, you know are worth exploring, including a video input, which can take a video and then transform it to another video. So similar to the image to image processing in the Stable Diffusion side. Um, so the first time I did this, it went to 72 frames. And after that, it essentially errored out. So that's why I added here a note. I added here a note on installing the FFmpeg library. And you need this so because at the end, right at the end of this generation, it will try to actually create a video that you can download. So it's creating every single frame, like frame by frame, right? And then at the end of things, you will get a video. So to glue all of those frames into a video, it will need that library. So you need to download that library to your local machine. If you're in Windows, you have to install that as well in Windows. But just know that if you see an error at the end of your generation, and it's something with that library that I just showed, then you have to install it at your OS level. It's not installed on the Python level, um, but you have to have it installed at the OS level. If it still gives you errors, I recommend you to install it at the Python level as well with the pip command. You can also install this library with the pip command like this. But um, what really worked for me was to install it at the OS level like this. So I could have all of the libraries and dependencies installed at the OS level. So I could create the final video at the end. So essentially it's going like that. Um, I'm just gonna essentially let it run for a little bit. And this is all that I wanted to show you. Is just kind of how to generate your first video with this technique. This is going to end up. It's going to generate an animation, and that animation you can use to, your social media or wherever you want to use that for. Um, Please get that animation and tweet it back. Like publish your video on Twitter, and then mention me. I'm Rodmates at Twitter. So I'll put that there on your tweet so I can see what you generate with this new technique. And essentially here you can put, as many different prompts as you want, and have that make an interpolation between an image and the other image. Some other stuff that you may want to try here are using models to essentially, experimenting with multiple models here. You can even select a custom model and then use that to process the prompts. So well, that's it. That's it for me. That is just a quick video on how to get you started with things. Remember that you need an API key to run these things. And that's it for me. Until the next time. Thanks.